Welcome to the Halloween edition of Sincere Community Webcasts podcast. I am your host, Frank. Right, today, it's not exactly Halloween today. This is like a pre-recorded part. So, as a member of the British Psychological Society, I'm just going through some of the subject material that's available to me as a member and student, because I'm still in my studency. What I've downloaded for free, that's of my membership, is the psychotherapy section review. It's number 67 of this year. It's an international special issue and clinical approaches to exceptional experiences. Now, there's an advance notice on this publication. It's to do with exceptional experiences and the reappropriation movements. So, on a Friday the 13th, May 2022, there was a conference. And I think that went on till Saturday the 14th of May 2022, within a clinical workshop. And it talks about the international expert meeting on clinical approaches to exceptional experiences. Just to be really brief in my commentary, it talks about the experience focus, right? And experience focus approach of dealing with so-called anomalous or exceptional experiences. So we're talking like phenomena, right? Phenomenon, and you might associate that with creepy stuff, like hauntings and ghosts and things. You might associate it with synesthesia and synthets or PSI experiences, or the paranormal and extrasensory experiences, as well as sort of focuses within science and natural sciences and particle science and things like that. So, and gravity and everything. So what we're doing with this is hearing out the point that's being implemented, right? So what's being implemented is it's all right to have exceptional experiences and talk to a psychotherapist about your exceptional experiences within reappropriation movements, that obviously are experience-focused approaches. So it's all right. Yeah, it's all right to tell your psychotherapist you've had an exceptional experience. That's basically what the approach is, and you're not going against the mainstream, like Western sciences, of telling your psychotherapist like it's accepted, it's a somewhat of a norm. It's kind of uncommon because it's still a little bit rare. Not everybody's had an exceptional experience. The clinical approach to exceptional experiences have been caught in a dilemma, so they claimed in the past, and they shouldn't apply any judgments on clients disclosing exceptional experiences. So there's no need to overreact. It's better to let go and be more skillful without making extra psychological judgments on a client, even in the need for therapy because of an exceptional experience. So I thought that that's enlightening. When it comes to paranormal or anomalous, exceptional, they're three common adjectives for some pretty strange experiences where peculiar things happen. So, with the theme of Halloween coming up at the end of this month in October, I saw fit to make a small episode about this. We're going into parts of the publication where the paranormal is normal. So since the beginning of the British Society for physical research, which goes back to 1882, surveys have shown the high prevalence of apparently paranormal experiences within the general population. So loads of people having exceptional experiences. It's undeniable, never questioned issue, and a matter for science and scientists. So even America's been involved, and in 1975 the American sociologist Andrew Greeley carried out a survey on the representative population of adults of his country, and he concluded quantitatively, the experience of the paranormal appeared as a social normality. So there we go. How about that? It's a slowly growing clinical field within psychotherapy and psychotherapists. There's many references. They seem quite interesting. I'm still looking at it. I haven't really taken it all in yet. Clinical parapsychology, experiences in daily practice. So, parapsychology, I associate that with ghosts and ghouls, maybe goblins as well. The study of claimed paranormal experiences, such as telepathic connections. How about that? Precognitive dreams and psychokinetic disturbances. Wow. And the likes. So that, it's a status that's been controversial, right? And it remains something of a taboo subject, I suppose. But it's also made most of its claims into the mainstream, right? Of science and scientists. So since the 70s and 80s, it's gained way more public interest, right? And particularly in the Netherlands, Amsterdam, Dutch people. So it's going on about the involvement. Gerard Groyset, I don't know, I might have got his name wrong, apologies. A well-known Dutch psychic. He's in the police force. He's actually a detective in the police force. He worked often on a featured radio and television program. It goes on about his background in electronics. While he was studying technology at college, he came across an article about so-called electronic voice phenomenon. So EVPs, popularised by Konstantin Rudiev, Konstantin Rudiev, in which It's snatches of speech are attributed to spirits of the dead. And they're said to be, like, discernible amid the white noise produced by a tape recorder. So this is like the background field of the natural sciences of this universe, our solar system and solar weather and the earth and the moon. It's like full of electromagnetic energy. So, having said that, what if it's just someone down the road? In the background, someone down the road that's alive and well. They're down the road. They're down the road, alive and well, on the other side of the earth, alive and well. They're not dead. Have you ever really thought about that? All these little apps that you can get where you tap into them and little gadgets and things, besides what you get on tablets and phones, where you can sort of like tap into electromagnetic fields, or like these, and listen to these EVPs and that. Well, this is interesting. It goes on and on. There's two columns of several multiple paragraphs. I'm already into like nearly 12 minutes. So like, and then it starts to go into an article to it written by Erica Annabelle Pratt. My interest in clinical parapsychology. So she goes on to talk about clinical parapsychology and when it began for her as a teenager. She's looking at the human condition, what it means to be human, what humans are capable of, what happens when humans die. She admits to being a very introverted person. And then she goes on about her love of text and integrative wellness, philosophy, spirituality, religion, psychology, and people's personal experiences. I'll just try to skim through it. She gets into the parapsychological as an interest. She's like funneled herself right into it for a clinical parapsychology perspective on others, in quotation marks. She's making some reference here to terms being like spiders. She's an interesting metaphor. She's trying not to misinterpret the meaning of what people flat out despise when it comes to swatting them vigorously. So still on about the spiders of terms within her clinical parapsychology. I had to skip to the next column and her focus on the human experience and helping people in a tangible way with their exceptional experiences. Well, I think that's really interesting. I still haven't really read it. I was scrolling down. Who is Erica Annabelle Pratt? She's a MA, PhD. She's a candidate. More letters. University of Northampton. And her Gmail address. Right. Exceptional experiences, EXE. So that's capital E, little x, capital E. And bonding styles, autonomy and bonding as basic human needs and as structural determinants of EXE. Wolfgang Fach. In exceptional experiences, his contribution to the human experience. In human experiences, it may deviate from a normal experience a little, I suppose, although not everybody's had an EXE within the conventional convictions and conditions of reality. So, right, here we go. He goes on, he's talking about his philosophy. He's obviously going to get into something ironic from what I've noticed, talking about the presupposition and defining the ExE. He goes on to explain more and his counselling requests. That's interesting. Wow, he really does go on, and there's like diagrams as well. Oh, the coincidence of the phenomenon, the disassociation from the phenomena, other external phenomena of the rest of the environment, and internal phenomena from the rest of the environment. Right, and typical patterns and all that. Environmental influence. Wow, so we're sort of 16 minutes into this podcast. This is really interesting. There's even more diagrams and more of this fantastic publication in terms of the part that Wolfgang has added. It goes on and on. He's written a gigantic part with loads of references there and citation, loads and loads. And well, that's fantastic. Now, what can a psychologist do for you? So in terms of accessing a psychologist, well, what can a psychologist do for you? Especially one that specialises in psychotherapy. What can a psychologist do for you who specialises in psychotherapy? Well, they can help you. Yeah, they can give you some counselling, introduce you to arts and therapy in general. They can help you within the society and society members and publications. They can coach you in that as well, and help to make a proper connection with your psyche and your needs. It can help you with your views, and help you review any issues or problems. If it's anything like this, I wouldn't really call it. I call it more of a perspective. This is more of a prospect. This is like within prospects. This is, although to be a bit clinical about it, it's of some therapy, and I also have a personal experience of my own, I almost killed myself when I was an infant and almost bled to death. What? So I've had some one or two creepy, exceptional experiences here and there along the way in life. And I've had some extra sort of sensory, natural science experiences with the kind of electric background and that here and there at certain times of the day and that. I've also had some UFO experiences. So I'm actually really public with, you can find clips and that of my own personal videos that I made in some within ufology and UFOs. They're on Facebook and YouTube. You might even find one or two links on my Twitter. All right. So it goes on. It's like inner healing. If you needed a healing experience or alternative therapy that was complementary, then a psychotherapist can help you, and that's what I'm looking at. I'm specialising in within my counselling and everything. So and being a holistic detox therapist as well as a mental health first aid, alumni. So and so I'm specialising in being able to manage that type of relationship with a prospect or even a client or like that of a patient. If a patient was like around some other levels, that is all right for me to deal with, but I would actually have to do that within being peer reviewed in leads, like senior leads. So like I would be assisting. It's be good for my research. I personally don't have a prospect or client or patient like who's beyond my academic like attainment. So like the kind of level 4, level 5 or level 6, level 7 type patient, I don't have those type patients within my working relationship, so I'm not having to communicate with seniors on that level. Engaging with seniors who give me scenarios to, within the concept of all the kind of medical law stuff that I'm dealing with. Yes, I engage with them. Engage with them through YouTube and Facebook, stuff like that, online. They're local as well, kind of like or Exeter, Plymouth, in Bristol, and so on, and they get together and they go through some simple, like scenarios online, or you can check out the pre-recorded stuff, which is available like YouTube and stuff like that. As well, or like even Medal, MEDALL, where they have conferences and they leave the recordings there with like catch-up content and stuff like that. So stuff like that is available to engage with, especially within single best answers if you're studying any of the anatomy type stuff and that, or psychobiology, which is what I do as well. Wow, the publication really just goes on and on. There's loads and loads of pages. Sometimes they're like really brief, and they're like journals just don't have like more than 10 pages. This has got like more than 65 pages. It goes on and on. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it at that. Otherwise, we'll be doing a whole episode for an hour, which is like really rare. That's more for like album releases. Like 22 minutes into it, it's about to be 23 minutes. I'm going to say thank you very much. Have a really fantastic, or have a really exceptional Halloween experience. There we go. Everyone have an exceptional Halloween experience this October. Stay safe, stay well, take care of yourselves. Whoa. Thanks for listening.